Hi everyone, welcome to Sociology. This is just a quick video to go over your syllabus. So let me show that to you really quick and we can just go over it. Um, Welcome to the class. I hope you really enjoy it. I think sociology is just a fascinating subject where we get to debunk a lot of the assumptions that we hold about the world. And I just think it's really, really interesting. So I hope you enjoy it. This is our syllabus going into the semester. So you are in Introduction to Sociology. Um, our class will meet twice a week. We'll try to do a lot of our assignments in class. Occasionally, we might have some on Blackboard, so make sure that you can log into Blackboard and access everything that you need to. A lot of my information and the syllabus and a couple of appendices are on there as well that you might use throughout the semester. There's my email address right there. Please email me anytime you need to. I try to get back within 24 hours, usually a lot earlier than that. I'll let you know if there are times that I'll be kind of off the grid for longer periods of time, but always within 24 hours, usually much quicker. So yeah, feel free to email me. Please stay after class if you'd like to chat, or we can always set up a Zoom meeting if we need to kind of meet one-on-one for office hours. Um, Communication through Blackboard works really well as well. So here are our methods of assessment. I like to make this class super straightforward as a structure, but then there's a sort of a choose your own adventure aspect to it as we get going. But by default, this is the structure of the class. We really just have two exams, a midterm and a final. They're both worth 100 points, multiple choice questions plus an essay section that helps us sort of flesh out and synthesize the three main theories that we'll be studying in this class. You'll have 10 writing assignments. So 100 points total, 10 points each. We have about 15 weeks of the class, give or take. So you'll probably actually have 15 writing assignments, but you choose 10 of them. So that way you can kind of choose which weeks you're busy and which ones you're not. Or if you don't do well on one or two and you'd like to drop them, that's kind of up to you. That way we don't have to worry about late work and all of that. You are in charge of your own schedule with those writing assignments, but there will be one offered each week. So I'll let you know when you get to the point, 5 weeks in, if you haven't done one, all of these count. And similarly, if you've completed 10 already, I'll let you know that. Class participation is also 100 points, so that includes attendance, active, relevant, and respectful engagement in class or online. I do understand that sometimes people have some social anxieties that make participating in class difficult, so I'll try to have some online options for participation. You might want to reach out to me if that's you and you would really prefer to participate online, and that way I can make sure that there's plenty of opportunities to accommodate you. Um, Here's kind of how I assess that. Here's the choose your own adventure section of this course. So I understand that everyone is brilliant in their own way. A lot of times courses don't measure that very well because assessments, exams are not always the best assessment of learning. And so if you are giving a good faith effort, I would really like to accommodate other ways of showing me that you have processed and learned this material. So if you choose, you may forego the final exam in favor of a challenge or a research paper, and both of those options come with a presentation during the last week of class. Um, so you your choice must be approved by me during the second week of class. If you look at the syllabus appendices, there are a couple of options for challenges and research papers and how you might present those. A few of them require you to be engaged now. So you're doing some kind of challenge where you're changing your lifestyle for the course of the semester. And so you need a week of sort of normal living to calculate what your normal impact is. And then you're already collecting data on your life for the rest of the semester. So make sure you read those options if you think this is something you might want to do and you decide really early. So look at those in the appendix. Um, Whichever you choose, just make sure that you let me know about that. And you'd let me know about the media that you would like to use to present your topic. So that will be a one-on-one discussion. If we have not had that one-on-one discussion by the second week of class, then I will assume that you're taking the final exam. Okay? The second sort of choose your own adventure option is those 10 writing assignments. So some of them are things that we'll complete in class, like we'll have one just this week. That's really straightforward, kind of a reflection. You'll hand it in class, so make sure that you have paper and you're prepared to write notes in class, analog. Um, and you'll get the 10 points from that. Others I might require a little bit more time, like you might need to listen to a podcast or something like that in order to make connections between what you're hearing, a current event or some current research, and make connections to the theory that we've discussed in class. So that might take a little bit more time on your own. I'll try not to have too much of that, but there might be a few of those. If I have something that's due online, it will always be Sunday night at midnight, the week following, right? So if we have class on Thursday, if we have an in-class assignment due on Thursday, you'll just turn it in then. If it requires a little bit more, I'll have you turn it in by Sunday night at midnight. So it could be right after class, but just to give you a little bit more time. So again, 10 of those that you need to complete. I'll try to offer a few more than 10 so that you've got some wiggle room and you can sort of adjust your schedule as needed. Anytime that I'm assessing your writing, I'm usually looking at three things. So here's the rubric that I'll grade you on, and I will give you feedback on this. It is a pet peeve of mine when people take courses and you take the same class or you take different classes, you kind of turn in the same type of writing over and over and over again. If you don't get quality feedback, you're not actually improving your writing as you move along or learning how to critically think or critically analyze better. And so I want to make sure that I'm giving you plenty of feedback that's actionable so that each time you turn something in, you're actually improving. So here's what I'm usually looking for. I'm usually looking for content, clarity, and depth. So content is obviously the biggest one, unless the clarity is so bad that I don't understand what you're trying to say, then it affects the content, if you see what I mean. So content, 5 points. You have a critical analysis that demonstrates thorough understanding of your course readings. So you're not just coming to lecture and taking notes, although that's really important, but you are doing the chapter readings each week of class, and getting those done by that Sunday night at midnight. You're taking lecture notes. You are integrating that with the prompt material, whether it's a podcast or a video or some type of news story that we're looking at. So you are integrating evidence from the assigned resources and connecting those to key course concepts. That's your content. Um, and it's original, it's your own. You're attributing the ideas that you've learned to the sources that you got them. And I'll talk more about citations shortly. The second part is clarity. So your ideas are focused, they're organized. The arguments are easy to follow. This is your grammar, your spelling. Can I follow it? Do I understand what you're saying? And are you being specific and making, oftentimes I'll say, make explicit what is implicit, right? So a lot of times, you know what I mean. No, say specifically what you mean. You're using the vocabulary to really reference what we're talking about in class. And then lastly, depth. So you're demonstrating critical thinking beyond surface level observations. So we're going to talk about these three questions in the first class. How are we interconnected? What are those power dynamics? And can you analyze those? And how is it more complicated than it might first seem? If you're able to answer some of those questions in your analysis, you can guarantee that you're getting into a little bit more depth in your critical thinking. So get all of those things, you'll get 10 points for each of your writing assignments. And I use the same rubric if I end up using an essay exam on the midterm or the final, I'll use that same rubric. All sources must be cited. So there's a citation cheat sheet available in the syllabus appendix. I'm really not picky about if you are familiar with Chicago style or APA or MLA formatting. Use that, run with it. But if you're not familiar and you're not able to stay consistent with a particular style of citation, I use APA style. And so there's a little cheat sheet on how to do that really easily, citing books, your textbook, any type of source that we might use in class, and a website that you can use to get more specific if you've got a different type of source that I haven't covered there. It's super easy to use, and feel free to reach out if you need my help with those things. But anytime you're making a claim, whether it's a quote or a paraphrase, needs to be cited. So, due to all the flexibility that I sort of built into the class here, you can customize the course schedule as you see fit, as long as you're engaged. And so I do not accept late work. Obviously talk to me if extenuating circumstances happen and you have an excuse. But in general, that's my policy. Grading is normal. 90s are A's, 80s are B's, etc. And here is our course plan. It would really be beneficial to print this out and post it somewhere, or at least get the dates in your calendar already. So notice that we are offset by 1 week. We'll spend the first week having sort of an introduction to class, and then we'll start with chapter 1 of the reading. So you'll want to complete that reading in our book the second week of class. So the 8th week of class is our midterm exam. So that will be due on the last day of class that week. We'll have a review session the first day and then take the midterm exam. The final exam, I don't have a particular date for that yet, but I will add that to this and let you know once we have that. So you'll notice we don't cover every single chapter of the book. If you do decide to do one of those other options for your final, you um, you might want to focus on one of the chapters that we skipped over just because we didn't have time. So I kind of focus on the chapters that are really interesting to me, but I do welcome feedback. If you're looking through the book and you say, oh my gosh, we missed chapter 12 and I really, really wanted to look at religion or whatever it was, talk to me. Let's try to integrate it and make sure that this course is sort of customized to what you all would like to study. Every student should attend every class. I do expect that all the work that you turn in is your own, just because this is a class, so you're meant to learn something here. And so using plagiarism or using AI is using someone else's, whether it's another person or not, but it's not your own work, and therefore you're not able to improve your own critical thinking quite as well. So I'd really like it to be completely your own work. So if you don't disclose that, that will be a result in a score of 0 and a report of academic misconduct each time. I also like to include what you can expect of me in here. So I will do my best to accommodate different measures of assessment or different interests when available. Please let me know by week 2 if you'd like to engage in an alternate final, or if you're more comfortable engaging in discussion online or via email. I'll do my best to accommodate that. I believe feedback is super important in learning. So I'll try my best to provide timely, specific, and actionable feedback for your writing, including strengths and areas to improve. So check the feedback. There is a place for that in Blackboard. Make sure you can find that. And of course, in class, it will just be handwritten on the paper that you turn in. Um, Reach out to me if you have any questions about your feedback or if you feel like it isn't actionable. So to me, effort and improvement is far more important than grades. So responding well to feedback is an excellent way to improve your participation and gain critical analysis skills throughout the class. More information just about ADA accessibility, your student code of conduct, and all that kind of thing. And just to let you know that this document can change, and I'll let you know if I change particular due dates or add anything. We can do that through Blackboard and through class. I really look forward to getting to know all of you. We'll have a conversation sort of about your expectations as the course gets going. Again, welcome.